In the midst of the 2026 Balikatan exercise, Japan and the Philippines have taken a major step toward deeper defense cooperation by agreeing to establish a bilateral working group to explore the transfer of GMSDF vessels, the Abukuma-class destroyer escort. This initiative could become a landmark case for Japan's evolving arms export policy and at the same time strengthen the Philippines' maritime capabilities. But let's be honest, with the rising tension in the West Philippine and East China Seas, is a 30-year-old escort enough? Instead of just looking at the surplus of the past, what if the Philippines acquired the crown jewel of Japan's modern fleet, the Mogami-class? How could we actually pull off a Mogami transfer? What creative financing would it take? And how would this transfer benefit both nations? Let's dive into this hypothetical question. The Abukuma-class transfer has been in talks for quite some time when defense ministers from the two nations met in Singapore last year. Built between 1988 and 1991, the Abukuma-class has earned a reputation for reliability in both anti-submarine and anti-surface warfare. While it lacks long-range air defenses, the class features a balanced weapon suite, including a 76mm main gun, phalanx seaweeds, and harpoon missiles, as well as astrok launchers and torpedoes for hunting submarines. This combination makes the Abukuma a perfect fit for littoral operation and maritime security within an archipelagic environment like the Philippines. Reports suggest Japan's officials are leaning toward a grain-based transfer, though this path comes with its own set of legal hurdles, particularly regarding the ship's armaments. As I've raised in my previous videos, the big question remains, will these ships be stripped of their weapon first or handed over as is? We also have to consider the US factor. Key systems like the harpoon missiles and phalanx seaweeds are American-made, meaning any re-export from Japan to the Philippines will require US approval. If the US gives a green light, the transfer remains a win. But even if they don't, there are plenty of global alternatives out there that could replace those systems. However, that brings up another question. These ships are 30 years old with maybe 10 to 15 years of service life left at most. Is it really worth the time and money to integrate modern weapons into a hull that's headed for retirement in a decade? Still, the Abukuma-class transfer is a welcome short-term capability solution that could beef up the Philippines' maritime strength and secure its vital sea lanes, while Manila looks toward more modern long-term solution. And that brings us to the Mogami. Within the next decade, the Philippine Navy surface fleet will consist of 4 Miguel Malvar-class and 2 Jose Rizal-class frigates, several used Pohang-class corvettes, potentially 6 Abukuma-class, and 6 Raja Sulaiman-class OPVs for a low-end conflict. While this growth is impressive, it remains a drop in the ocean compared to China's 400-plus ship strength. And when the Abukuma and Pohang classes inevitably retire, the Navy will be left with a surplus of trained sailors, but no modern hulls for them to man. So my suggestion is to transfer, lease, or sell the early built Mogamis to the Philippines. Think about it. Japan is already moving ahead with 12 upgraded Mogamis, a variant that is significantly more powerful and capable. Since both variants require more or less the same 90% crew, keeping the standard variant becomes redundant for the GMSDF, isn't it? Why should Japan keep a 16-sail warship when the upgraded variant offers double the VLS capacity with the same crew? In my opinion, it's an inefficient use of their most valuable resource, their sailors. Instead of maintaining a split fleet, Japan could just hand those standard hulls to a like-minded partner like the Philippines while building more of the upgraded variant. From what I see, it's a win-win. Japan could streamline its fleet and the Philippines get a massive boost in maritime defense. Japan and the Philippines have already laid the groundwork with landmark agreements like AXA and RAA designed to streamline everything from joint drills to logistical support. If the Philippines operate warships with the same technological DNA as Japan, the two nations become strategically interlocked. Under this framework, Japan could provide high-level maintenance for Philippine Mogamis, the Philippines could resupply Japanese ships in the south or vice versa, creating a seamless, interchangeable defense network. Furthermore, Japan is already positioning the upgraded Mogami as the future backbone of the Australian Navy. If Japan, Australia, and the Philippines all operate this same platform, it creates a standardized regional fleet stretching from Tokyo to Manila to Canberra. Effectively establish a Mogami wall across the first island chain with a high-tech interoperable barrier that streamlines logistics and sends a clear message of unified deterrence to China. So, how can the Philippines actually acquire a high-tech frigate like the Mogami? We have 3 proven blueprints based on how the two nations already do business. First, using the Official Security Assistance or OSA framework. In 2023, Japan launched the OSA framework, a grant aid program specifically for the militaries of like-minded nations. And the Philippines was the very first recipient of OSA when Japan provided a $4 million coastal radar system to the Philippine Navy. While a Mogami costs significantly more than a radar system, maybe Japan could use OSA to cover some of the cost of an early built Mogami in the name of bolstering regional stability. Second, using the lease-to-own model. A decade ago, Japan leased 5 TC-90 trainers to the Philippine Navy for a symbolic fee initially of about $7,000 a year. Because Japanese law at the time prohibited giving away military equipment for free, they used a lease as a legal workaround. But once Japan amended its Self-Defense Act, it officially converted the lease into a grant, handing the planes over for free. Maybe Japan could also lease the early-built Mogamis to the Philippines for a nominal fee while crews are trained. Once the legal or grant frameworks are fully mature, the title is transferred. This allows the ships to arrive in the Philippine waters years before the full payment or legal paperwork is finalized. And finally, using a direct sale with Japan's subsidy. Just as the Philippine Coast Guard acquired the Abukuma-class MRRV through ultra-low interest Japanese loans, Japan could provide the same kind of loans with 0% or 0.1% interest. This allows the Philippines to buy the ships today but pay for them over 30 or 40 years. However, despite Mogami's strategic value, integrating Japanese warships into the Philippine Navy isn't without challenges. The Navy's recent modernization has been heavily anchored in South Korean design, creating a streamlined ecosystem for logistics, maintenance, and crew training. By introducing the Abukuma and hypothetically the Mogami, the Navy will be adding a layer of Japanese-American systems to a fleet that currently runs on Korean-European standard, potentially complicating the supply chain. These interoperability considerations will likely play a key role in Manila's evaluation. At the end of the day, military procurement isn't just about getting the best hardware, it's about what fits the existing fleet. Even if Japan offers a tempting deal for a dream ship like the Mogami, the Philippines might still say no if the logistical burden outweighs the tactical gain. What do you think of this hypothetical scenario of Japan transferring the Mogami to the Philippines? Should the two nations make this happen? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching everyone. I'll see you in the next one.